Donald Trump builds a new bully pulpit with rallies, tweets with rallies and tweets. Trump reshaping the bully pulpit, in the midst of the ferocious debate over the Affordable Care Act in 2010. President Barack Obama did something many presidents do when they feel stymied by an obstinate Congress. He took his pitch on the road, embarking on a multi-city series of campaign-like stops before supportive audiences. When's the right time for health insurance reform? Is it a year from now, or 2 years from now? Or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now? The president asked the crowd in Philadelphia in early March of that year, with a look of steely determination on his face. I think it's right now, and that's why you're here today. The moment was a precarious one for Obama's most prized domestic initiative. Polling showed a majority of Americans opposed to his prescription for health care reform, preferring him to focus on job creation. And Republicans were thirstily threatening to wield the plan against every Democrat on the ballot that year. But Obama's team was convinced that placing the president in front of sympathetic crowds outside of Washington to plead his personal case, even if it was a redundant one, would pay dividends. 2 weeks later, Obama signed his bill into law. Donald Trump is still 6 weeks from his inauguration day, and yet he's already signaling he'll expand the presidential bully pulpit to bounds not seen before. This week alone, the president-elect is holding rallies in 3 battleground states, North Carolina, Iowa and Michigan, as part of his "Thank You" tour. But these rallies, which look, sound and feel indistinguishable from his campaign events, are about much more than simply offering thanks. They appear purposefully designed to portray Trump as a perpetual victor. He's placed squarely inside a reaffirming venue that's used as a vehicle to champion even the smallest of successes, and to push and press forward his unconventional ideas before adoring fans. To the members of Congress watching from their television screens and Twitter feeds on Capitol Hill, it's a constant and powerful reminder that the masses are with him. And these events are more likely than not to remain a permanent fixture of his presidency. What it does is assist him with communicating and laying out his agenda. It helps build momentum for that agenda. People are just loving these. He didn't win and go into hiding, says Rep. Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, who serves on Trump's transition team. It will help to put some pressure on Congress to move swiftly. 2017 is not going to be a usual, standard operating procedure year in Washington, D.C. Take Trump's Tuesday night event in Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg, the largest military base in the U.S. by population. Trump used it to formally unveil his selection for Secretary of Defense, retired Marine Gen. James "Mad Dog" Mattis. "Mad Dog plays no games, right?" Trump crowed. Because he's only been retired for 3 years, Mattis will need a special waiver from Congress in order to bypass a law that prohibits recent active officers from serving as Secretary of Defense. Opinion: Donald Trump's Twitter use is revolutionizing the president's bully pulpit. Before thousands of supporters still waving campaign placards, Trump applied his case. If he didn't get that waiver, there'd be a lot of angry people, Trump said. Such a popular choice. It's just one example of how Trump is transferring the energy from his campaign to governance. He's a performance artist. That's what he does for a living. Performers must perform. He feeds off the crowds. He gathers his strength and momentum from them. I doubt he'll suddenly switch that light off because he may feel unalive, says Douglas Brinkley, a presidential historian and professor at Rice University. He won't make a differentiation between campaigning and governing. It's still all the Donald Trump show. He has a winning formula right now. Why change courses in midstream because people say other presidents haven't done that? What may get in the way of Trump's perpetual roadshow is the responsibilities of governing. A foreign policy crisis, a heightened national security threat, a budget battle. These are all nearly inevitable instances that require a president to huddle and strategize in person with his advisors. But this is where Trump's second specialized weapon comes into play: his Twitter account. While Obama became the first president to tweet in 2015, his miniature missives generally have been formal, banal and forgettable. Trump's tweets are the exact opposite. And there's no mistake about who's drafting them. They're spontaneous, humorous and often substantive, though the veracity of their substance has been called into question on multiple occasions. Trump's tweets already are driving cable news coverage, molding policy and placing opponents on notice. For instance, the new reality is Donald Trump's tweets are going to be running the news cycle. It's not going to stop, Brinkley says. It's a new form of governing. Some people will find it tacky and crass. Others will say it's a clever way to go over Washington, D.C. officialdom and speak directly to the American people. It's going to make the press conference and pool reporters antiquated. He adds, it's almost like Confucius spreading strange wisdom. Every day he's pumping verbiage into our news cycle and he's able to control, with the number of characters, using choice words, to goad people, get under people's skin, seek revenge and move policy forward in his direction. Taken together, Trump's mega rallies and tweet storms are already ushering in a reimagined presidential pulpit. One that plays to his strength of pithy performance art, laced with dashes of suspense. As Trump told his rally in Fayetteville, referencing the press, "I'll tell you, and they're saying it, they've never seen anything like this before.